All right, well, welcome back to Between Two Flasks. My name is Marilyn.
My name is Nashwa.
Nashwa, tell me a little bit about yourself.
I am a first-year graduate student at UW, and I am here to tell you about why you should take a gap year if it's right for you.
Ooh, coming in hot with the strong opinions. All right, let's get right down to it, Nashwa.
Okay.
So why or when do you think someone should consider taking a gap year?
I think people should consider taking a gap year if they really like doing research but want to explore what it looks like for a longer period of time. I think that they can be a good opportunity to kind of explore their research interests and also to, I guess, like figure out if you really want to go to grad school.
Yeah, totally. And you took a gap year.
I did.
And you had a lot of research experience already, but it was mostly while you were an undergrad or it was a summer experience. So did you just feel like you really wanted to know what it would be like to do research full-time as a career before you committed to graduate school?
I had only been doing like summer programs, which span around like 10 weeks, and then academic year research, which kind of coincides with classwork. So I couldn't necessarily do as much as I wanted to do. And I knew that I loved research, but I also knew that grad school research kind of takes a really long time, a really, really long time sometimes.
Really long?
Really long.
How long are we talking here?
Like 20, 30.
30? Do you think there's ever been a 30-year graduate student?
For sure. I'll be the first. I could be the first. You don't have to put that.
I will not let that happen to you, Nashwa.
I don't
We're
think that you
will.
will.
5 and out. 5 and out.
Okay, 5 and out would be
Five
good.
and out. Okay.
But even 5 is like a while.
It's a long time, yeah.
And so I wanted to make sure that I could like tolerate research for 5 years and also just like understand what it looks like to do that kind of thing long term and full time.
Yeah, definitely. I know there are also some students that might take a gap year if there are gaps in their sort of application or preparation. So if you want to go to medical school, but you don't have any shadowing experience, maybe you should take a gap year to shadow. Maybe you have a poor MCAT score and you need that time to study and retake the test. Maybe, you have a low GPA, so you need to enroll in a couple of classes to try to get that up. There are also kind of financial reasons to take a gap year. It's expensive. People want to talk about it, but she's a little pricey, right? Like she can be a little expensive. So maybe you need to spend a year working and saving up money so you can afford those applications. And then I think you started out by saying you would encourage everyone to take a gap year.
I would encourage everyone to at least consider it. I have never met anybody who regretted their gap year, but I have met people who wish that they had taken one.
Because it is a nice kind of break. I mean, it's such a race, it feels like, to go from high school to undergrad, trying to do all these internships, and then to go straight into grad school, which, as you said, is between 5 and 30 years.
Yeah, exactly.
So sometimes you need a break just to recharge and do things that you enjoy and spend time with family and friends before you commit to the life of a grad student. So were you always thinking about taking a gap year, or sort of when did you start considering that maybe a gap year was right for you?
I was introduced to gap years from like some of my summer programs, like the SERP. Shout out to Marilyn. She told me about gap years.
I bribed Nashwa actually to say this. So
I actually never took a gap year. Marilyn just asked me to come here.
It's all a farce.
But like I heard like grad student panels would talk about taking a gap year or not taking one and what that looked like for them. And I felt like the things that they gained from taking a gap year I could really benefit from them.
And then what sort of resources did you lean on to investigate which gap year options might be a good fit for you?
All of like the summer programs that I did, like the SERP generated like a list of like post-bacc opportunities. And so I was kind of going through those, and I was hearing about the prep programs and the NIH post-bacc programs and also opportunities to tech. And so I found that doing a post-bacc program at the NIH felt like the best thing for me. And so I ended up pursuing that.
Okay, so let's talk about those 3 options a little bit more. So PrEP is a National Institute of Health funded Post-bacc program. It stands for Post-Baccalaureate Research Education Program, and institutions across the country can apply for this grant and have these programs. I think the real benefit to those programs is they provide a lot of supplemental support to students. So things like GRE or MCAT test prep, journal clubs, writing clubs. They might help you learn how to write an NSF supplement grant. You can take supplemental courses. So if you got a poor grade in, say, biochemistry, you might be able to retake biochemistry and improve your grade. And then they also really are focused on helping you apply to graduate school. So if you think you definitely want to go to grad school, you know you love resources, you know.
I love resources.
We all love resources in this case. You know you want to go into research, but you need more resources to help you be competitive. A prep is really built to help you get into graduate school. I think the benefit of the IRTA, for example, which is a National Institute of Health post-bacc program, that program is better if you want to really focus in on the research, which it sounds like that was sort of the path you decided to take.
Yeah.
So can you tell me what else fed into your decision to apply to the IRTA instead of a prep or working as a research technician or doing something else with your gap year?
I felt that the IRTA would be the best for me because I knew that I didn't want to be at an academic institution. I had done a summer program at the Hutch and felt that I was really interested in working at a government research organization or an otherwise like nonprofit research institute. And so I thought working at the NIH would be really cool for a couple of years. I also just think that it has like a ton of resources, and I knew that I'd have access to different workshops and the ability to like see a lot of seminars. Honestly, too many seminars. They can make you unproductive. But
more hot takes with Nashwa. Yeah. Seminars make you unproductive.
They can.
We're standing by it.
If you watch too many of them. Not that being unproductive is a bad thing.
It's true. We all need periods of unproductivity.
I agree.
Do you feel like there were any drawbacks to taking a gap year?
I really cannot think of like any.
You heard it here first.
Yeah,
there's no downside. It's perfect.
It's literally perfect.
And what advice do you have for students who are considering taking a gap year?
Think about what you want to get out of the experience. Like I went into it knowing that I wanted to improve like my communication skills, knowing that I wanted to like definitely take a lot of like ownership of my project and to build specific like computational skills. And I kind of like chose the gap year opportunity based on that, and then tried to do that for like the next couple of years.
Nashwa, you're making me want to take a gap year. You're so convincing right now.
There's time.
There's still time.